From Barefoot to Victory. In the dusty outskirts of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where the earth was cracked like an old man's hands and the sun beat down without mercy, Tsigai Bekele was born into a world that offered no promises. His family lived in a one-room hut made of mud and straw, shared with two younger sisters and a mother, Mulu, who wove baskets to sell at the market. His father had vanished when Tsigai was 3, leaving behind nothing but debts and a pair of worn sandals. Hunger was a constant shadow. Some days they ate only injera scraps, the sour tang of fermented dough their only comfort. At 6, Tsigai learned to scavenge, darting through bustling streets to collect plastic bottles for pennies, his bare feet calloused against the scorching ground. "One day we'll eat every day," he told his mother, his dark eyes fierce with a child's defiance. School was a distant dream. The nearest one was a 2-mile walk, and shoes were a luxury. But Mulu insisted. "Your legs are your future," she'd say, tying rags around his feet to mimic soles. Tsigai ran to school, dodging potholes and stray dogs, arriving sweaty but eager. The classroom, a concrete box with no desks, was his sanctuary. He scribbled notes on borrowed paper, his handwriting small to save space. By 10, he was the fastest kid in the village, outrunning boys twice his size in impromptu races for mangoes or coins. "You're like the wind," his teacher, Mr. Desta, said, watching him sprint across the field. At 12, tragedy struck. Mulu fell ill. Tuberculosis, the doctor said, her coughs rattling the hut at night. Medicine cost more than they earned in a month. Tsigai dropped out to work, hauling water for construction sites, his skinny frame straining under heavy buckets. "I'll be back," he promised Mr. Desta, who gave him a tattered book about Haile Gebrselassie, Ethiopia's running legend. Tsigai read it by moonlight, the story of a boy from poverty to Olympic glory ignited a spark. "If he could, why not me?" he whispered, tracing the pages. Running became his rebellion. After work, he'd race along dirt paths, barefoot, dodging rocks and thorns. His sisters cheered, calling him Cheetah. He trained at dawn, his breath puffing in the cool air, imagining a finish line that didn't exist. At 14, Mr. Desta entered him in a local race, a 5K organized by a charity. Tsigai had no shoes, no gear, just a borrowed t-shirt and determination. He finished 3rd, collapsing in the dust, lungs burning, but heart soaring. The prize? A pair of second-hand running shoes. "Keep going," the organizer said, handing them over. Tsigai clutched them like gold. High school was a fight. The family moved to a slightly better shack, but money was still tight. Tsigai worked nights at a market stall, unloading crates and studied by candlelight. He joined the school's running team, but teammates mocked his ragged clothes. "Barefoot boy thinks he's a champion," one sneered. Tsigai ignored them, training harder. He ran 10 miles daily, his new shoes wearing thin. Mr. Desta coached him, teaching proper form. "Your legs are strong, but your mind must be stronger," he said. He visualized races, his strides eating up the earth. At 16, a regional race offered a cash prize, enough for Mulu's medicine. Tagai entered the 10K, facing runners from wealthier towns with sleek gear. His shoes split mid-race, but he ran on, feet bleeding. He crossed the finish line first, collapsing into Mulu's arms. The $10 prize bought medicine and a new dream, nationals. "You're my lion," Mulu said, her cough quieter now. The path to nationals was grueling. Tagai trained in the hills, pushing his body to its limits. He ate what he could, bananas, injera, sometimes nothing. A local shopkeeper, moved by his story, donated running gear. Tagai's times improved, clocking sub-30-minute 10Ks. At 17, he qualified for the Ethiopian National Youth Championships in Addis Ababa. The city overwhelmed him, towering buildings, honking cars, but the track was home. He placed second, earning a scholarship to a sports academy. "This is your shot," Mr. Desta said. The academy was a new world. Coaches provided nutrition plans, proper shoes, and training schedules. He lived in a dorm, sending most of his stipend to Mulu and his sisters. Classes were tough, math, English, biology, but he excelled, driven by the need to secure their future. Running became scientific, interval sprints, tempo runs, recovery days. His coach, Otto Kabede, saw Olympic potential. "You're not just fast, you're relentless." Setbacks tested him. A shin injury at 18 sidelined him for weeks. Doubt crept in. "What if I fail them?" he confided to his roommate, Samuel. "You've carried buckets," Samuel replied. "You can carry this." Tagai rehabbed fiercely, using borrowed crutches to stay mobile. He visualized races, his mind outrunning his body. By 19, he was back, stronger, winning regional races with ease. The big break came in 2025. Otto Kabede entered him in the Great Ethiopian Run, a prestigious 10K with international scouts. On September 9th, 2025, Addis Ababa buzzed with thousands of runners. Tagai, now 20, stood at the start line, his heart pounding. His sisters and Mulu watched from the sidelines, their faces painted with hope. The gun fired. Tagai surged, his legs a blur. Crowds roared as he passed runners in branded gear, his second-hand shoes holding up. At the 8K mark, he was neck and neck with a Kenyan favorite. For Mulu, he thought, digging deep. He crossed the finish line first, a new personal record, 28:12. The crowd erupted. Scouts swarmed him, offering contracts. Tagai signed with a sports agency, securing sponsorships from Nike and a local telecom. The winnings, $5,000, bought Mulu a small house with a garden. "No more dust," he told her, tears in his eyes. He returned to the academy, balancing training and studies. By 21, he was Ethiopia's top 10K runner, qualifying for the World Championships. His story spread. Barefoot boy to champion, headlines read. Tagai visited his old village, speaking to kids in rags. He'd say, "Run your own race," handing out shoes from his sponsors. At night, he'd call Mulu, her voice strong now. "You're our pride," she'd say. Tagai smiled, knowing the finish line was just the start.